Bonsoir à tous et bienvenue. Nous sommes ravis d'organiser notre premier webinaire avec notre partenaire Trupanion. Plutôt cette année, nous avons reçu des questions sur l'offre Go Home Day de Trupanion, sur la politique et sur le type d'informations relatives à la santé qu'ils peuvent partager avec nous sur les chiens de CCC en collaboration avec Trupanion. Nous avons décidé que la meilleure façon de répondre à vos questions était de la faire directement. So good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is John Atkinson. I'm the Director of Advocacy and Communications at the Canadian Kennel Club, and I welcome you here. We're really excited to be hosting our first webinar with our corporate partner, Trupanion. Earlier this year, we were getting lots of questions about Trupanion's Go Home Day offer, their policies, what kinds of health-related information they can share with us about CKC dogs, and other questions. So together, we decided the best way to answer your questions was directly, and so that's why we're here tonight. So encore, bienvenue, welcome again. Le webinaire de ce soir se déroulera principalement en anglais, mais nous avons le plaisir d'avoir toutes les diapositives de la présentation en français, ainsi que Catherine Paladin, qui répondra à toutes les questions en français. So while tonight's webinar will be mostly in English, we are pleased to have all presentation slides in French, as well as have Catherine Paladin, who is here, who will answer questions, any French questions you may have. After a presentation from our partners at Trupanion, we will have a question and answer period. Many of you sent us your questions ahead of time, but you'll also have a chance to answer questions live. So you can do so by submitting your questions through the question and answer button on your screen, and we will do our best to get through everyone's questions tonight. So, après une présentation de nos partenaires de Trupanion, nous aurons une période de questions et réponses. Beaucoup d'entre vous ont envoyé des questions à l'avance, mais vous pourrez également poser toutes les questions que vous souhaitez et soumettre par biais de boutons questions et réponses sur votre écran. Nous ferons de notre mieux pour répondre aux questions de chacun ce soir. Sans plus attendre, je souhaite la bienvenue à nos deux intervenants de Trupanion. So without further delay, I would like to welcome our two speakers from Trupanion. So our first speaker is Catherine Paladin, who is the Trupanion Breeder Account Specialist supporting Quebec breeders in both French and English. Catherine began at Trupanion supporting our French-speaking members in 2020. She's served on a few different teams since then, before she joined the breeder support team in this past January. Catherine is a native Québécoise and lives in Montreal with her two cats. So welcome to you, Catherine. Bienvenue. And our second speaker is Lacey O'Connell, and Lacey is the Trupanion Breeder Account Specialist, primarily working with our partners in Eastern Canada, with the exception of Quebec. Lacey has been with Trupanion for 8 years, 6 years on the breeder support team, and focusing solely on Canadian support for the last 2. Though based in the United States, Lacey often travels to Canada with her coat and hat And sometimes her husband and loyal dog join her for the journey, adding a touch of home to her travel. So welcome to you both, and I will now turn the microphone over to you. Merci.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. So I'll be doing the first part of the presentation, and Lacey will follow up with the rest of the presentation tonight. Je parle français également, donc je vais traduire pour vous, les francophones, et nous allons passer un bon webinaire bilingue. Donc, pour commencer, on va parler de l'impact du partenariat entre Trupanion et le CKC. So we're going to talk about the impact of the partnership between Trupanion and the CKC. So what is our mission? So at Trupanion, we're on a mission to help loving, responsible pet owners budget and care for their pets. Alors, chez Trupanion, nous avons comme but d'aider les propriétaires d'animaux et à prendre soin de leur animal de compagnie et les aider à faire un budget. So by partnering with the Canadian Kennel Club, we're able to help purebred dogs throughout Canada by introducing their owners to pet medical insurance. En ayant un partenariat avec le Club canin canadien, nous sommes en mesure d'aider les chiens de race à travers le Canada en introduisant leurs propriétaires à l'assurance pour animaux. Our goal is to ensure an owner is never forced to choose between what's best for their pet and what they can afford. Alors, notre but, c'est de s'assurer que les propriétaires d'animaux n'ont pas besoin de choisir entre ce qui est mieux pour leur animal et leur budget. So we are better together. Driven by our passion for dogs, we've partnered together to set your litters up for success. Alors, motivés par notre passion pour les animaux, nous avons fait un partenariat pour s'assurer du bien-être de vos portées. We've been partnered together since October 2022. On est des partenaires depuis octobre 2022. We allow CKC breeder members to send their litter homes with a special Go Home Day offer from Trupanion. Alors, nous donnons accès aux éleveurs du Club canin canadien qui sont membres du programme d'éleveurs à pouvoir envoyer leur portée à leur nouvelle maison avec une offre spéciale de Trupanion que nous appelons l'offre du jour de départ. Expedited access to our breeder support program, which provides enhanced support for breeders. Alors, vous avez accès rapide à notre programme d'éleveurs qui offre un support priorisé pour les éleveurs. What makes us unique? So what sets us apart? Qu'est-ce qui nous rend unique ici chez Trupanion? Alors, Trupanion est la meilleure compagnie d'assurance pour animaux pour une raison. Donc, nous, on essaie de se différencier des autres. Donc, voici quelques différences avec les autres compagnies. So, Trupanion is Canada's #1 pet health insurance company for a reason. So, we strive to set each other apart from other companies. And here is a few reasons why we are the best. So, we don't have any payout limits. So whether the bill is 1,000 or 10,000, we don't cap coverage. So we're truly an unlimited product. Nous n'avons pas de limite pour les réclamations. Donc, soit que la facture soit 1 000 $ ou 10 000 $, nous n'avons pas de limite chez Trupanion pour les factures. We have vet direct pay. So what that is we're able to pay participating veterinarians at the time of checkout. So that's really great for pet owners, so they don't have to worry too much about the bill, and we can pay them directly to reduce financial stress. Alors, nous sommes en mesure de payer les vétérinaires participants dans notre programme directement au moment de la facture. Donc, nous pouvons payer certains vétérinaires directement, ce qui enlève le stress financier aux propriétaires des animaux et qui nous permet de donner une meilleure expérience aux clients en collaboration avec les vétérinaires. Et notre service à la clientèle est disponible 24/7, 365 jours par année. Donc, nous sommes en mesure de vous répondre à n'importe quel moment et il y a toujours quelqu'un ici pour répondre à des questions ou pour parler d'une réclamation ou d'une urgence. So we're available 24/7 here. And our customer service is here to provide at any time, any hour, answers to your questions, or if you have a claim or something urgent, you can call us at any time, and we're always available. So what is the Go Home Day offer? Qu'est-ce que l'offre du jour de départ? So the Trupanion Go Home Day offer, it gives your buyers 30 days of coverage without caps, waived waiting periods, and no upfront cost. So for the first 30 days, they don't have to pay anything. It's without obligation. And we waive the waiting periods, which are usually applicable if somebody enrolls on a regular policy. But with our breeder offer, we're able to eliminate those waiting periods. So the pet is insured on day one. Pour l'offre du jour de départ, donc nous donnons 30 jours de couverture sans frais à vos acheteurs. Il n'y a pas de période d'attente pour cette assurance. Donc, dès le moment qu'ils quittent vos soins, les animaux sont déjà assurés. Donc, tout ce que vos propriétaires ont à faire, c'est de nous appeler pour activer le 30 jours. Et il n'y a pas de frais liés à cela. Donc, ils n'ont pas besoin de payer le premier mois de l'assurance. So providing the offer through the CKC website. So basically, it's integrated into the CKC litter registration process. I'd like to mention that this does send email reminders to your buyers, but it does not sign them up. So due to the laws, people have to sign up themselves since it is an insurance product. After registering the litter with CKC, you'll have the option to submit the owner's info to Trupanion. So this is so that we can send them email reminders at the time that their pet is leaving to go to their new homes. And you submit an entry for each pet in the litter, and that's pretty much it. So pretty simple process, sends them email reminders. You can also go ahead and remind them at the time of pickup to activate their offers. We found that more people activate that way. And also more people can take advantage of this great offer. Alors, pour donner l'offre du jour de départ à vos acheteurs, c'est intégré dans la démarche du CKC. Donc, en fait, après avoir enregistré votre portée, vous avez l'option de soumettre l'information de vos acheteurs à Trupanion. Ce que ça va faire, c'est que ça va envoyer des rappels par courriel à vos acheteurs. Donc, j'aimerais préciser que cela ne les enregistre pas pour l'assurance, mais plutôt leur envoie des rappels par courriel. Et pour ce qui est des rappels, en fait, ils doivent nous appeler pour activer l'assurance, la police de 30 jours. Donc, ils peuvent nous appeler. On recommande toujours de mentionner à vos acheteurs avant qu'ils partent avec leur nouvel animal de ne pas oublier d'activer leur offre pour qu'ils puissent profiter d'un 30 jours de sécurité. So providing the offer outside of the CKC website. So there's multiple ways that you can do it. You can print copies. We can equally send you printed copies through the mail if you request it with your breeder relationship manager. You can email it. You can text it to your buyers. Or you can send it to them maybe on Facebook Messenger or social media. And you can also send them email reminders. You can sign them up for that on our website as well. Alors, pour donner l'offre du jour de départ autrement que le portail du CKC, il y a plusieurs manières que vos portées peuvent profiter de l'offre de Trupanion. Donc, ils peuvent avoir des offres imprimées. Donc, si vous aimeriez que je vous en envoie, si vous êtes au Québec, demandez-moi. Moi, je peux vous envoyer des offres imprimées. Et ou sinon, vous pouvez les imprimer par vous-même si c'est plus rapide pour vous. Vous pouvez l'envoyer également par courriel, par texto ou par les réseaux sociaux. Donc, certaines personnes l'envoient à travers Facebook Messenger. Ou sinon, vous pouvez aller sur notre site Internet et inscrire vos clients pour des rappels par courriel à travers notre site Internet de Trupanion. Et maintenant, je vais passer le micro à ma collègue Lacey. I will pass the mic to my colleague Lacey, who will continue with the presentation.
All right, and hi there. I do apologize in advance. I don't speak French very well, but Catherine will try to help me if anyone does need additional assistance in what I'm presenting. Trupanion and the CKC. These next two slides, I'm going to go over some statistics with you guys, just so you can see kind of the impact that this partnership has had so far. So since our partnership began in October 2022, we've enrolled over 6,700 pets. We've seen 68.3% increase in activations and 68.45% increase in enrollments. We've seen activations from 184 different breeds so far. We've also seen the most activations from golden retrievers. Oh, sorry, Catherine, can you help change the slide? All right, so Trupanion and the CKC. Since our partnership began in October 2022, we've paid out claims for more than 1,700 pets during the offer period. Over 446,000 for pets during the offer period, and an average of $254.85 to each owner with an offer claim. More than 3.3 million total in claims for CKC pets since our partnership began. All right, and then this gets more exciting too as we go on, but the health of CKC pets. So our CKC puppies under one claim, 19% less than our non-CKC breeder pets for parvovirus. CKC dogs claim 19% less than non-breeder pets for elbow dysplasia and 54% less for hip dysplasia. Overall, CKC pets claim about 21% less than non-breeder pets. And breed-specific data. So part of the fun of the insurance side of things is that we do get to see a lot of the claims that come through and have a way to analyze those. So just a few examples here of what we've seen so far. With CKC golden retrievers claiming 14% less than non-breeder golden retrievers. CKC French bulldogs claim 3% less than non-breeder French bulldogs. And CKC Havanese claim 30% less than non-breeder Havanese. So this is just a few examples of breeds that we have some of the data for, but I believe if you are interested in something for your specific breed, reach out to John. John, hope I'm not putting you on the spot. I was told to refer them to you, but we can help collect some of that data. And usually it'll take 2 to 3 weeks for us to get the data all together so that we can send you a similar type report for this. All right, and want your own personalized reporting. One of the biggest benefits of signing up for Breeder Support Program is our ability to provide you with personalized reporting, including anonymized claims data, so you can see the types of claims that come from your litters. Anonymized activation information, so you can see how many of your buyers take advantage of the offer. And as a member of the Breeder Support Program, you'll also get your own dedicated breeder relationship manager. So some of you may have already spoken with myself or Catherine. We are a couple of the relationship managers that assist with this.
And just for the francophones in this meeting, so this is an interesting point on our breeding program. Alors, nous avons des rapports de données personnalisés. Donc, nous, on les appelle rapports d'activité. Donc, les avantages d'avoir un rapport d'activité, c'est que vous pouvez voir le nombre d'activations qu'il y a de votre offre. Également, le nombre de personnes qui décident de continuer l'assurance et les réclamations que nous voyons avec les chiens. Donc, tous les chiens qui s'enregistrent avec votre code vont se ramasser dans votre dossier ici dans le programme de support des éleveurs. Et avec ces données-là, moi, je peux vous envoyer des rapports d'activité. Comme ça, vous pouvez voir quel genre de réclamation qu'on voit et les activations et également le nombre de personnes qui décident de continuer avec nous. Donc, ça devient vraiment intéressant et ça vous donne accès aux données de santé de Trupanion. Back to you, Lacey.
No, that was perfect. Thank you. Thanks for up there. So here we kind of get to, what our goal is, lifelong impact for families' pets. So thanks to our partnership with CKC, you're able to help ensure each dog lives a long, healthy life. Most pet parents need to cut off treatment at around $2,000. However, Trupanion is able to help ease that burden so owners don't need to worry about finances. Pets with Trupanion are twice as likely to live longer than non-Trupanion insured pets. All right, and if you were interested, we do have a couple of QR codes down there to get started with Trupanion, specifically in joining our breeder support program. So we'll leave some of this information up there for a minute. If you did want to check it out, reach out to us, definitely. We'd love to connect with everybody. And then I believe we're going to move on to some of the questions, starting with the pre-submitted ones, and then we'll try to address as much as we can while we have some time left.
Alors, pour les francophones, si vous aimeriez vous inscrire au programme de support aux éleveurs, vous pouvez scanner un des QR codes ici. Ou sinon, si vous aimeriez avoir du service en français, vous pouvez m'envoyer un courriel au catherine.paladin@trupanion.com. Je ne sais pas si je pointe dans la bonne direction, mais mon courriel est ici.
Okay, d'accord. Merci, Catherine and Lacey, very much for your presentation. We very much appreciate it. And merci, Catherine, for your live translation as well. Je l'apprécie beaucoup. So we have many questions that have been submitted, many beforehand and a couple in the chat. So I will do my best to go through, and whichever of you would like to take the question, please jump in. Lacey, just to let you know, your audio there, somebody commented, could you speak up a little bit while you answer some of the questions? So
I'm so sorry about that. I'll try to be a little more clear. Sorry about that, though.
No problem. Okay, so our first question is, are there plans to provide incentives or rebates to those who help pet their dogs? Est-il prévu d'offrir des incitations ou des rabais à ceux qui soumettent leurs chiens à des tests de santé?
I can go ahead and start off with this one. At this time, no, we don't have a plan to. Our coverage is going to be there. We want to make sure that it is there for everyone. I know that health testing has come a long way too, but at this time, it will not impact your rates.
Okay, thank you very much, Lacey. Our next question is, would an emergency C-section be covered if the dog has breeding coverage? Une césarienne d'urgence est-elle couverte si le chien bénéficie une couverture pour l'élevage?
Yeah, so the answer to that question would be yes. So we do have a breeding rider that's in place that you can get added to your policy as a breeder. So you can definitely get coverage for that kind of stuff, emergency C-sections or breeding complications. It's all listed on our website, what the specifics are, and as well as we have like a sample policy available for you to view. And you can also call our customer service if you'd like additional information on the breeding rider, like when to add it and when can you remove it, that kind of stuff. So definitely we do have something in place for breeders as far as coverage goes. Alors, pour l'avenant d'élevage, donc nous avons de la couverture disponible pour les éleveurs. Donc, cette couverture, elle couvre en effet les césariennes d'urgence. Donc, ça, c'est quelque chose qui est couvert par notre avenant d'élevage. Nous avons également d'autres couvertures. Vous pouvez nous appeler pour avoir plus d'informations, regarder notre site Internet. Nous avons également un exemple de la police sur notre site Internet que vous pouvez voir spécifiquement qu'est-ce que ça couvre. Mais je vous dirais qu'en général, ça couvre pas mal toutes les complications reliées à l'élevage.
Merci, Catherine. Our next question is, if a client from the USA buys a dog in Canada, is the dog protected by the insurances, by insurance that you provide for the first week? Si un client américain achète un chien au Canada, le chien est-il protégé par l'assurance que vous proposez?
So the answer to this would be yes. So our policy covers everywhere in the US and Canada, which is especially useful for people who like to travel and bring their pets around. So they are covered everywhere in Canada and the US. You can go to any hospital in those two countries and get coverage there. Et c'est particulièrement intéressant pour les snowbirds du Québec. Donc, les gens qui vivent au Québec et qui vont en Floride, on les appelle snowbirds ici. Alors, pour eux, c'est un gros avantage que nous avons parce que nous couvrons vraiment partout aux États-Unis et au Canada.
Parfait. Merci, Catherine. And if any of you snowbirds need someone to carry your luggage, please let me know. I'm happy to make the trip with you. Next question is, I'd like more details regarding the coverage included in the breeding rider. J'aimerais avoir plus de détails sur la couverture incluse dans l'avenant d'élevage.
I can take this one. I think Catherine has touched on it a little bit just in regard to one of the previous questions. But with the breeding rider, so one, I do want to just make sure everyone's aware, our contact center at Trupanion is available 24/7. So if you do have additional questions, or if questions come up in regards to the coverage, you can reach out to them, and they can definitely go over things like the breeding rider, optional packages that can be added to the coverage. I'll try to give you kind of the quick highlights of it, especially our breeder support team. We are more familiar with breeding side of the insurance policy. So the breeding rider is an optional package that can be added on in addition to the base coverage. It does come at an extra cost, which would be based on a few other details, but it is something that can be added when you've decided to breed a female, and you can remove it if you do retire her to help bring that cost down a little bit. One thing to keep in mind, the breeding rider applies to the basic coverage, so still works the same. The coverage that comes with the breeding rider would be breeding-related emergencies or unexpected sides of things. So that being said, it would not apply to the routine costs associated with breeding, such as progesterone testing or ultrasounds, unless it's being done for a medical concern. But definitely a great option, you know, if you're concerned or just for the sake of making sure that they are safe. Things can happen. And I think the previous question that had come up along these lines was in regards to a C-section. That's the main thing that we would recommend a breeding rider for, or a reason to have that on the policy, is make sure C-sections, you can definitely have seen some pretty expensive ones, depending on the clinic. So worth looking into at the very least.
Great. Thank you, Lacey. Next one is, do you provide bulk insurance for the breeder's own dogs? Fournissez-vous une assurance complète pour les chiens de l'éleveur?
So the answer to that question would be no, not for now. Our product is, each pet is priced individually. So this is how our product works, and is priced based on location, breed, the age upon enrollment, that kind of stuff. So because of our pricing factors and also our pricing promise, that we pay out 72 cents on the dollar, we don't have any packages available as of yet. So stay tuned for that one. En français, donc nous n'avons pas présentement des bundles d'assurance, si on peut dire ça comme ça. En fait, nous avons juste des polices qui ont des prix individuels. Donc, les gens peuvent inscrire individuellement leurs animaux. Puis la raison pourquoi, c'est à cause de nos facteurs de prix et du facteur risque. Donc, simplement, c'est basé sur le code postal, la race de l'animal et l'âge au moment de l'inscription. Donc, c'est pour ça que nos prix, ils sont individuels, parce que nous essayons de respecter le plus possible les facteurs de prix.
Merci, Catherine. Okay, our next one is a condition covered only initially or lifelong? Une affection est-elle couverte uniquement dans un premier temps ou tout au long de la vie de le chien?
This is a great question, and it's one of the things that we are proud of. A condition would continue to be covered if it's eligible. When the condition starts, the eligibility will not change throughout the lifetime of the pet, as long as they're staying insured, as long as they keep the insurance in place. If it is canceled and then the pet is re-enrolled in the future, it would not be covered at that point. But if the policy is in place and maintained, it'll continue to be eligible.
Great. Thank you, Lacey. Okay, I'm gonna jump into the Q&A here. So our first question in the Q&A is, how can breeders take advantage of the 30-day coverage on a puppy that will be staying with the breeder? Comment les éleveurs peuvent-ils bénéficier de la couverture de 30 jours pour un chien qui restera chez eux?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and I'm happy to say you can also get an offer, but it's going to be a different offer. So basically, the offer stays the same. It's still 30 days with the same kind of coverage. So our policy is always 90% unlimited. And you can get coverage for your pets, but it would be at your pet's next full vet exam. So you can give us a call, you can give customer service a call, and they can activate an offer for you that we call exam day offer. So breeders cannot use their own codes to activate offers for reporting purposes. But if you do want to get an offer activated, definitely call us within 24 hours of your next full vet appointment, and we'll be able to get that activated for you. Alors, pour les gens français, donc oui, en fait, vous pouvez également profiter d'une offre avec Trupanion pour les animaux que vous allez décider de garder avec vous. Donc ça, c'est une possibilité. Et par contre, cette offre, elle va s'appeler différemment que celle de l'éleveur. Les éleveurs ne peuvent pas utiliser leur propre code pour des facteurs de rapport Donc, ils peuvent aller au vétérinaire pour un examen complet avec leur animal et nous appeler le service à la clientèle dans les 24 heures suivant l'examen et nous allons pouvoir activer un 30 jours pour vous également.
Merci, Catherine. Does your coverage include dental? Sorry, en français aussi. Votre couverture comprend les soins dentaires?
I'll grab this one. So the coverage will not apply to the cleaning. That's considered routine or something to be planned for. It would help if there is a dental issue. Part of why I like answering this question, my own dog broke one of his front teeth on a bone. It had to be removed. You know, it's an incident. We weren't expecting that to happen. He is about 10 years old now, and we did have him go through a cleaning at the same time. When it is billed, the vet breaks down what portion of that bill was associated with the cleaning and what was associated with the dental extraction. The extraction is eligible for coverage, but the cleaning would not be.
Great. Thank you, Lacey. I just have there's a follow-up question about the previous question. So that was around breeders taking advantage of the 30-day coverage on a puppy that would be staying with the breeder. And the follow-up question was, so would that mean that a breeder's pup would have no coverage until the age of 3 months?
No, so essentially the exam day offer, any breeder can get their pet signed up on this exam day offer. So the puppy doesn't need to be, just needs to be under 14 years of age. So as long as your dog is under 14 years of age, you can definitely get this offer. And you can just go at your next vet appointment for a full exam. You can just call us within 24 hours and we can activate that for you. Was the question in French, John? Because I can answer it in French too.
It was en anglais.
English? Okay, good.
Are there any plans, does Trupanion have any plans for multiple dog owner discounts? So, réduction est-elle prévue pour les propriétaires de plusieurs chiens? Which of you would like to take that one?
I can go ahead. At this time, no, we do not have a multi-pet discount at this time. It is something we would like to, be able to offer, especially for our breeder partners. I know that most of our breeder partners are in households of more than the average family, or more pets than the average family, but we do not have a multi-pet discount at this time. I would recommend, if you were interested in insurance, you can check out the different rates, different deductible options, see if there is something that would work for you in there. But no, unfortunately, at this time, we don't have a discount.
Okay, thank you very much, Lacey. How do you move over a dog already insured with another company without exclusions? Comment transférer un chien déjà assuré auprès d'une autre compagnie sans exclusion?
So unfortunately, there's no way to transfer a pet from another company without having pre-existing conditions, unless the pet doesn't have any pre-existing conditions. Then I would say you could safely transfer it. So basically take the policy 30 days in advance that you want to cancel with the other company. So at least you get through the waiting periods with us. And if your pet has no conditions during our waiting periods, I would say you'd be safe to cancel the other company and just continue with us. Although I'd like to mention, if somebody is giving up their pet and they have a Trupanion policy, it is possible for us to transfer the policy internally from one owner to another while avoiding pre-existing conditions. So that way, if the pet is already insured with us and the person wants to do a transfer to a new owner, we can definitely prevent them having any pre-existing conditions on file because it comes from Trupanion. Unfortunately, with other companies, we cannot do that at this time. And I don't think that's something that's going to be planned for in the future. Alors, pour les francophones, le transfert est possible. Par contre, moi, ce que je vous suggère, ce serait de transférer la police, planifier de transférer la police 30 jours avant. Donc, vous allez commencer une nouvelle police avec nous, passer à travers la période d'attente de 30 jours pour les maladies et 5 jours pour les accidents. Et ensuite, quand que cette période d'attente elle est passée, vous pouvez vous sentir en confiance de canceller l'autre compagnie. En fait, pour éviter les maladies préexistantes avec une autre compagnie, ça ne sera pas possible. Par contre, si la personne de qui vous voulez prendre la police est déjà assurée avec Trupanion, nous pouvons la transférer en évitant les maladies préexistantes. Donc ça veut dire que vous pouvez nous appeler, nous autoriser à transférer la police à quelqu'un d'autre et au moment que la personne va prendre la police, les conditions ne seront pas préexistantes à ce moment-là. Si vous avez besoin de plus de détails pour les transferts, vous pouvez me contacter. Ça me fera un grand plaisir de vous aider et de pouvoir vous guider.
Merci, Catherine. The next one is Trupanion. It's about Trupanion's ID cards for each dog and that they're no longer issued. And the question is whether there is a way to go back to issuing ID cards. Trupanion ne délivre plus le carte d'identité pour chaque chien assuré. Existe-t-il un moyen de revenir à l'émission de carte d'identité?
So no, we've discontinued the pumpkin tags. So there won't be any more tags for now. We're looking into making them better or changing up our procedure for that. So stay tuned for more. I know they're not available at this time, but maybe in the future they'll be available and better. Alors, pour les francophones, nous n'envoyons plus le petit tag que vous pouvez mettre sur le collier de votre animal. Donc, il y avait un matériau dangereux et nous avons dû arrêter de les produire. Mais dans le futur, possiblement que nous allons avoir quelque chose de mieux et nous regardons les possibilités pour ça. Alors, on va vous tenir au courant dans les courriels à venir pour le programme.
Merci, Catherine. So I'm just going to go to one in the chat, and it's a comment en français. Il serait génial d'obtenir des rabais pour nos propres chiens. So this is a similar comment to earlier about it would be great to get discounts for our own dogs, so breeders' dogs. And I think Lacey previously answered that, but any other comments?
We do agree, and we're hearing you out and taking note of all your suggestions. So that's definitely something that we communicate, and we have received that comment a few times. Definitely, that's something we want to look into in the future, but not for now, sadly. We don't have anything in place for like multi-pet discounts or that kind of stuff, or like bundle policies. Donc, présentement, nous n'avons pas de rabais pour les multiples animaux, mais nous entendons vos commentaires et nous les faisons passer aux équipes appropriées pour ça. C'est sûr que c'est quelque chose que nous voulons regarder dans le futur et continuer de travailler dessus, mais malheureusement, nous n'avons rien en place pour l'instant pour des rabais pour plusieurs animaux.
Merci. Okay. How much do your premiums go up yearly on average? This is like a 3-in-1 question. So how much do they go up yearly on average? Does a 10-year-old dog need to have a vet exam before being insured? And then the other kind of follow-up is, does the premium go up as the dog ages? So so maybe I'll just I'll ask one en français. Quelle est l'augmentation annuelle moyenne de vos primes?
So we don't have an average for pricing increases. Like I said a little bit before, our pricing is based off of breed, age upon enrollment, and the postal code, so the location of the person and the cost of vet care in your area. So currently, this is what we base our pricings on. So for example, somebody who has a French Bulldog in Montreal, their pricing is going to be different than somebody who has a French Bulldog in BC, as well as vice versa. And also if a dog is registered earlier in time, so between 8 weeks to 1 year of age, they're going to be set up for success and have the best pricing because they were enrolled as a baby. If not, we don't have any like specific rates because it really varies per breed or per location. Alors, nous n'avons pas d'approximation pour les augmentations de primes. Donc, en fait, nous, on base ça vraiment sur la race de l'animal et la localisation de la personne, le coût des soins vétérinaires dans votre code postal. Donc, en fait, ce n'est pas, on peut pas estimer les augmentations parce que ça reste vraiment basé sur ces facteurs-là.
Merci, Catherine.
And if I can just add a little bit to that, just from my own experience, I have a dog that's 10 years old now that's been insured with Trupanion for about 8 years. I have seen his rates go up a handful of times. 1 year, it didn't change from 1 year to the next. But I've also seen his rates have gone down a couple of the years. So we do try to keep an eye on it. You know, are our prices where they need to be, and make adjustments accordingly. That being said, too, he is 10 years old now, but he still has the pricing of being 2 years old, 2 or 3 years old when he was first enrolled.
Great. Thanks, Lacey. I see the time marching on, and we're getting through lots of questions, but there are lots of questions. So the next one is en français. Est-ce qu'un examen vétérinaire avant d'être assuré? So is a veterinary examination required before being insured?
So the answer to that question is no, but to be able to maintain the coverage, we do ask that you follow your veterinarian's recommendation. So for examination, vaccines, dental cleanings, that kind of stuff. So as long as you follow the vet's recommendations, you're fine. Pour ce qui est de ça, en fait, il faut juste suivre les recommandations du vétérinaire. Donc, nous, c'est vraiment basé sur ce que le vétérinaire écrit dans le dossier, que c'est comment on traite les réclamations. Donc, en fait, c'est vraiment juste de suivre les recommandations de votre vétérinaire par rapport aux examens, les vaccins, les nettoyages dentaires et la couverture VOG valide.
Merci, Catherine. This individual wants to know, can we just call in to register our puppies? Pouvons-nous simplement téléphoner pour enregistrer nos chiots?
You go ahead.
So for this one, no, technically, because the owner has to be the one activating the offer. So because of that, the owners would have to call in and activate. And also, we don't want to give you a second job. We know you're busy with your puppies and your litters, and we don't want to have you have to do like the insurance agent's jobs. We pay people here to do that. So gladly you can tell them to call customer service. We're pretty quick at picking up calls. So I'm not worried that anybody who calls in is going to get an answer pretty fast. Alors, pour répondre en français, la réponse est non. Malheureusement, vous ne pouvez pas appeler pour enregistrer vos portées vous-même. Ça doit vraiment être le propriétaire de l'animal qui le fait. Mais aussi, en même temps, on veut vous éviter une deuxième job. On sait que vous êtes occupé avec vos chiots et vos portées et on veut pas que vous ayez à faire la job d'agent d'assurance. Donc, on a des gens ici qui sont payés pour ça. Donc, gênez-vous pas de leur dire de nous appeler. Ça prend seulement quelques minutes et on va pouvoir les enregistrer pour leur offre.
Merci. The next one is, can I expect an increase annually? Puis-je m'attendre une augmentation annuelle?
No, not necessarily. In the example I used with my own dog, we do look at rates throughout the year and have to make adjustments to cover the cost of vet care. It doesn't necessarily mean it will increase. We just want to make sure that we are charging the correct amount that allows us to pay the 90% unlimited coverage. So there have been times, it doesn't happen as often as increases, but if we're able to reduce costs anywhere that we can, we will let you know too. If there is a premium adjustment, you will be notified. I believe it's 30 or 60 days in advance, but we will let you know prior to it happening so you can look into it a little bit farther. Also, feel free to call the contact center too if you want a little more clarification as to what might have changed.
Great. Thank you, Lacey. The next one's from the chat, or not from the chat, from the Q&A. If you have a puppy covered and at breeding age, once all health testing is completed, you decide to breed, can you get the breeding rider without penalties? Or do you have to have this rider as soon as you adopt the puppy?
That's a great question. With the breeding rider, we know that sometimes you will start coverage early on and may not decide to breed until later. It is the one option that you can add to the policy later on. So if you start your coverage, it can be added later on. It does need to be in place in order to be eligible. It does need to be in place prior to the female being bred and past at least one billing date. So if your billing date is on the 20th, you're planning on breeding her soon, you just want to get it in place prior to your billing date. I recommend when you're planning on breeding, once you've decided you want to breed her, I recommend just try to add it at least 30 days prior to when you're expecting her to go into heat.
Thank you, Lacey. So we only have about 4 minutes left, so I'm going to try and get a couple more questions in. So this one is, what the person's wondering why there's a price discrepancy between provinces. Pourquoi y a-t-il de tels écarts de prix entre les provinces?
I can go ahead and answer this one. So the reason why there's discrepancies between pricing in different provinces is because the cost of vet care is not the same, and the cost of living is not the same in each province. So if I take Montreal as an example, and BC, let's say, so there's a big difference between the pricing in Montreal and BC because the cost of vet care is usually higher in BC, from what I've seen on claims and with people I've spoken to as well and did some quotes for. So that's basically why it's the area that the person is located in is a big pricing factor for us.
Thank you, Catherine. So my last one, and I'm sorry for not being able to answer all questions, but maybe what we can do is if there's a handful of questions left over. Catherine, if you and Lacey, if you're okay, we could answer those questions and provide them to our members on the member portal after. Would that be okay?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Okay, so the last question's about increases. So there were a couple of questions, a couple of comments about seeing the individual seeing a large increase. So one person said, il s'agit d'une augmentation de 3 ou 4 supérieurs. So seeing a 3 to 4 time increase in 1 year. And another said they saw an increase of 60% in 1 year. And so just wondering if you can comment on that.
Yeah, so the rates, as we've mentioned, we look at the cost of vet care. We want to make sure that we're continuing to provide the same type of coverage. I know that's not ideal, and we definitely don't want this to be something that is not affordable, but we want to make sure that we can continue to provide the coverage that we do. That being said, and to be completely upfront, Trupanion isn't always going to be the cheapest option out there, but it's because of the coverage that we offer. So our coverage is 90%, and there's no cap on that. There's no limit on the amount that we pay out. When you do see increases, it's probably related to cost of vet care or an increase in claims. But we try to uphold that same value. One, always providing the same coverage, 90%, and having that be unlimited. But also on a numerical level, our value proposition is defined by the average amount we spend paying our members' invoices. It's currently, I believe it's currently at 71%, and we're working towards 72% by the end of 2025. We're currently the highest in the industry. So it's the percent that we pay out is higher than you'd see with other companies. That being said, that's part of why you do see some of those rate adjustments. It's definitely worth, looking into if you want additional information or discussion. The contact center can definitely go over some of those options and the situation with you if you need.
Thank you, Lacey. So we are at 8:01. So I'm going to wrap it up. Merci beaucoup d'avoir participé au webinaire de ce soir et par toutes les excellentes questions que vous avez posées. Je regrette que nous n'ayons pas pu répondre à toutes les questions. Nous avons répondu à presque toutes les questions. Thank you so much for attending tonight's webinar, and thank you for the great questions you asked. Well, we didn't get to all of them. I'm sorry. We got to almost all of them. A big thank you to our partners at Trupanion, including Catherine and Lacey. Un grand merci à nos partenaires de Trupanion, notamment Catherine et Lacey, pour leur présentation et leur disponibilité à répondre à toutes nos questions. Thank you so much, Catherine and Lacey, for responding to all the questions. For those who could not attend tonight's webinar, we will be posting a recording of it on our member portal. Thank you again, everyone. Pour ceux qui n'ont pas pu assister au webinaire de ce soir, nous en publierons un enregistrement sur notre portrait des membres. Merci encore et à tous. A bonne soirée. Thank you again, everyone, so much, and have a wonderful night, evening. Merci.
Thank you so much, everyone. Merci.
Bye-bye, everyone.